Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you real quick, especially to all the ladies who've ever felt that sting when a man starts pulling away. You know what I'm talking about? When his calls slow down, the text gets shorter, and suddenly the man who once couldn't stop talking to you now seems like he's disappearing. And you're sitting there thinking, Steve, what do I do? Do I call him? Do I tell him I miss him? No, baby. You don't chase a man, you make him miss you. When a man starts pulling away, most women's first instinct is to run after him, to fix whatever went wrong, to make him feel how much they care. But that's the very moment you need to pause, breathe, and understand the truth. Space creates value. What's too easily available loses its shine. When you give someone too much of your presence, too much of your energy, they start to take it for granted. That's just human nature. You can't make someone miss you by staying right there in front of them every second. You make them miss you by stepping back and letting the silence do the talking. When a man pulls away, don't chase him. Replace that urge with self-focus. Replace your time waiting for his text with time building your peace. Replace the need for his validation with your own sense of worth. That's how you flip the script. Let me tell you something. Ladies, a man values what he earns. If you're always chasing him, calling first, fixing things, showing up even when he's distant, then he doesn't have to do anything to keep you. He already knows you'll be there no matter what. But the moment you pull back, when you stop explaining and start observing, when you stop begging for attention and start protecting your energy, he feels that shift. He starts to realize that your presence was not guaranteed, it was a privilege. And that's when the missing begins. You see, every relationship has an emotional rhythm. When a man feels you pulling back your energy, not in a manipulative way, but in a grounded, confident way, his mind starts to replay the moments you shared. He remembers your laughter, your kindness, your warmth. He starts comparing that peace you brought him with the emptiness that now surrounds him. That's when the space you created starts working for you, because you've turned from someone who's chasing to someone who's being chased. And the most powerful position in love is not the one who runs after it, but the one who attracts it. When you stop chasing, you send a silent message. I'm not here to convince you to choose me. I'm here to remind you that I'm a choice worth missing. And that message, ladies, is loud enough to shake a man awake. See, men respect boundaries. They can feel. When you pull away from someone who's taking your energy for granted, you teach him how to treat you without saying a word. You become a mirror that reflects his behavior back to him. If he values you, he'll come closer. If he doesn't, you've cleared the space for someone better. Either way, you win. So the next time a man starts acting distant, don't panic, don't chase, just shift your focus inward. Let him feel the loss of your presence while you refill your own cup. Because the woman who knows when to step back doesn't lose love, she gains respect. And respect, once earned, makes any man miss you like crazy. Mystery keeps a man thinking, and that's one of the strongest ways to make him miss you, even when he's pulling away. See, men are wired to pursue what they can't completely understand. The moment he feels like he's figured you out, like he knows every move you'll make, that curiosity that once drew him in starts to fade. But when you bring back a little mystery, when you stop over-explaining, stop always being available, you reignite that spark in his mind. A mysterious woman isn't distant, she's selective. She doesn't hide, she just doesn't hand out every piece of herself on a silver platter. And that's exactly what makes her unforgettable. Think about it, when you first met him, he couldn't stop thinking about you. He wondered what you liked, what you thought, what made you smile. That curiosity kept him engaged, kept him chasing. But as time went on, if you started revealing every detail of your emotions, if you were always the one reaching out, checking in, explaining yourself, you unknowingly took away the thrill of discovery. You became predictable. And predictability in relationships can kill attraction faster than conflict ever could. Mystery keeps the fire alive because it keeps a man wondering what's next. So when he starts to pull away, don't run after him with answers. Don't start sending long messages trying to explain what went wrong. Let him wonder. Post less, talk less, but glow more. Let him see that your life still moves beautifully without his constant involvement. Maybe he sees you smiling in a picture, looking at peace. Maybe he hears from a mutual friend that you've been focusing on your goals. That little bit of uncertainty will drive him crazy because now he's not sure if you've moved on, if you're still thinking of him, or if someone else has caught your attention. That's when the questions start spinning in his mind, and those questions turn into longing. A woman with mystery doesn't play games, she has grace. She knows that silence can speak louder than words. She doesn't have to say, I miss you. She lets him feel it through the space she creates. And when he does reach out, she doesn't rush to reply in seconds. Not because she's being cold, but because she's living her life. That natural unpredictability keeps him on his toes, keeps him invested, keeps him thinking about her when he's alone. Men, remember women who leave a trace of curiosity behind. The woman who's always explaining herself fades from memory, but the woman who remains just a little mysterious stays in his mind long after the conversation ends. So when you feel that distance, don't chase clarity, embody mystery. Let him work to understand you again. Let him earn the right to know what's on your mind. Because the truth is, mystery makes a man miss you, not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. Confidence is magnetic energy. It's that invisible force that pulls people towards you without you saying a single word. When a man starts pulling away, most women instantly begin to question themselves. Did I do something wrong? Am I not enough? Maybe if I just try harder, he'll come back. But that's the trap, baby. The more you try to prove your worth to someone, the more you forget that your worth was never up for debate. Confidence doesn't beg to be noticed. It allows itself to be felt. When a woman stands in her power, when she walks like she knows who she is, that's when a man starts realizing what he's losing. Because no man can forget the woman who didn't need him to validate her. You see, real confidence isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about knowing you'll be fine with or without him. It's not about acting cold. It's about standing firm in your value. A confident woman doesn't chase, she attracts. And she doesn't attract through looks alone, but through her energy. It's the peace in her silence, the sparkle in her eyes, the way she carries herself even after being hurt. It's that inner glow that says, I may love you, but I will never lose myself trying to keep you. That's power. That's what makes a man turn his head back when he thought he was walking away for good. Confidence is the difference between reacting and responding. When he goes quiet, you don't panic. You don't start sending message after message. You breathe, you smile, and you trust that if he's meant to be there, he'll find his way back. Because you know you're not hard to love, you're just rare to find. When you move with that kind of peace, people can feel it. It shifts the energy in every room you walk into. And trust me, that kind of calm, self-assured presence will make a man miss you like crazy because he realizes you're not chasing, you're choosing. And confidence doesn't mean you never feel pain. It means you face it and rise above it. It means you pick yourself up, fix your crown, and keep moving even when your heart is heavy. Because deep down, you know that nothing and no one can take away what's truly meant for you. That's the kind of strength that stays on a man's mind long after the conversations fade. He remembers the way you respected yourself. He remembers how you didn't crumble when he pulled away. That memory burns deeper than any words ever could. So when he starts to drift, let your confidence speak for you. Let your silence, your peace, your glow remind him of the woman who didn't beg, she believed. Because confidence is not just attractive, it's unforgettable. And once a man experiences a woman who truly knows her worth, every other woman will only remind him of what he lost. Emotional control is power. It's the quiet kind of strength that doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to chase, and doesn't need to prove anything. When a man starts to pull away, the easiest thing in the world is to panic. You feel that distance, that silence, and suddenly your heart starts racing. You want answers, reassurance, closure, something to make the confusion stop. But here's the truth. The moment you start reacting emotionally to his withdrawal, you hand him the power. You make him the center of your peace. And that's the biggest mistake a woman can make when a man starts to drift. Because the woman who can stay calm, grounded, and composed in the face of uncertainty, that's the woman who leaves a lasting impression. A man might forget what you said or what you did, but he'll never forget how you carried yourself when he tested your emotions. The way you handle that moment tells him everything about your value. If you stay calm instead of begging, silent instead of arguing, graceful instead of dramatic, you shift the dynamic completely. Because now, instead of feeling in control, he starts to question himself. He starts wondering, why isn't she reacting? Why isn't she trying to fix it? And in that silence, he begins to realize that you're not desperate, you're dignified. That's when missing you begins. Emotional control doesn't mean pretending you don't care. It means you feel everything deeply, but choose how and when to express it. You cry in private if you need to, but you don't hand over your power publicly. You take time to breathe, reflect, and focus on yourself instead of trying to control what he does. Because emotional maturity isn't about changing him, it's about mastering yourself. When you can stay centered while someone else is being inconsistent, that's power, that's self-respect, that's emotional intelligence. The world teaches women that expressing love means chasing after someone when things go wrong. But real love, mature love, knows when to step back. It knows when silence says more than words ever could. When you respond with grace instead of frustration, with distance instead of drama, you force a man to confront his own behavior. You mirror his energy, not out of spite, but out of balance. That kind of control makes him realize your strength because it shows you're not reacting from fear, you're responding from self-worth. And here's the beautiful thing. Emotional control not only makes him miss you, it brings you peace. It stops you from losing yourself while trying to hold on to someone else. When you master your emotions, you stop giving temporary people permanent access to your peace. You start realizing that anyone who can walk away from you doesn't define your value. The woman who knows how to stay calm when love feels uncertain is the woman no man can forget, because she becomes a symbol of grace, a reminder of strength, and a mystery he'll spend a lifetime trying to understand. Show growth, not neediness. That's one of the most powerful ways to make a man miss you like crazy when he's pulling away. Because when a man starts to create distance, he expects you to fall apart. He expects you to chase him, call him, explain yourself, maybe even beg for his attention. But when you do the opposite, when you rise instead of break, when you focus on your peace instead of your pain, that's when you shift everything. Growth is magnetic. When you evolve in silence, when you start working on yourself instead of trying to fix him, he begins to see you differently. He starts to wonder what changed, what made you glow, what gave you that calm confidence that he can't quite understand. The truth is, people remember the version of you they left behind. So when you start leveling up emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they can't help but look back and realize how much you've outgrown them. A woman who grows after being hurt becomes unforgettable because while most people react to rejection with desperation, she responds with transformation. That's rare, and men notice it. He might not say it out loud, but when he sees you becoming stronger, more peaceful, more focused, he feels that quiet regret. He remembers that he once had a seat in your world, and now he's on the outside looking in. Growth means turning pain into purpose. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? You start asking, what is this teaching me? You stop giving energy to what's gone and start building what's next. You take all that emotion and pour it into your goals, your healing, your happiness. You start reading more, moving differently, dressing with intention, walking with pride. That's when your glow changes, not because of makeup or clothes, but because your energy matures. And trust me, that's a glow no man can forget. It lingers. It haunts him in the best way because he realizes you didn't crumble when he pulled away, you blossomed. Neediness says, I can't live without you. Growth says, I'll be fine regardless. And that's what makes him miss you. A man misses a woman who's no longer emotionally dependent on him. He starts remembering the laughter, the conversations, the energy, but now it hits different because you've evolved beyond the woman he left. You've become the woman he can't reach unless he grows too. And that's the kind of power most people never understand. So don't show him your pain, show him your progress. Don't tell him how much you miss him, let your peace speak louder. Every time you invest in your own healing, every time you choose growth over reaction, you remind him of the woman who refuses to settle for less than she deserves. And that's the kind of woman no man ever truly forgets. Because she doesn't just move on, she moves up. And once he sees that, he'll realize he didn't just lose a woman, he lost a woman who became everything he didn't value when he had her. Make him feel your absence, not hear about it. That's one of the most powerful truths every woman needs to understand. When you tell a man you miss him, when you keep reminding him of what you feel, it loses its impact. But when you disappear with grace, when you pull your energy back without drama or explanation, that's when the silence starts to echo in his mind. A man doesn't miss you because you tell him to. He misses you because he feels the difference between your presence and your absence. When your voice, your laughter, your energy are no longer a part of his daily routine, the emptiness becomes impossible to ignore. See, men don't usually realize what they have when it's right in front of them. They feel your presence so often that it becomes familiar, and familiarity can dull appreciation. But the moment you step back, the moment you stop showing up the way you used to, something shifts. He'll scroll through his phone and notice there's no message from you. He'll hear a song that reminds him of your voice. He'll laugh at something and realize he used to share that laughter with you. That's when missing you begins, not because of your words, but because of your silence. When you make him feel your absence, you're teaching him the value of your presence. You're showing him what life feels like without your energy, without your comfort, without your love. And here's the thing, a woman who can walk away gracefully speaks louder than any argument ever could. You don't have to announce that you're done. You don't have to prove your worth. You simply remove your energy from places where it's no longer respected. That quiet strength makes a man look at you differently because he realizes he can't just expect you to always be there. He starts to understand that your presence was not a guarantee. It was a gift. And don't think silence is weakness. Silence is strategy. It gives you time to rebuild, to reflect, to recharge. It gives him time to think, to wonder, to miss. You don't chase him with words. You let time remind him of everything he's lost. When you go quiet, you give him space to fill in the blanks, to remember your energy, to feel your absence in his everyday life. That's far more powerful than any message you could send. So instead of explaining your worth, demonstrate it through distance. Instead of proving your love, protect your peace. Let your absence speak the language of strength. Because the woman who knows how to walk away without bitterness, without noise, without needing closure, she leaves a mark no man can erase. And when he finally realizes what he lost, it'll be too late because your silence will have already told the story. The most unforgettable women are not the ones who talk about leaving, they're the ones who actually do.